Hey guys, what's going on? This is Ben Carroll from Team Sunshine, and if you're interested in solar and you haven't gone solar yet, this message is going to be very relevant to you because with solar, it's a huge opportunity, and I'm not going to go into all the benefits right now, but there's 3 core myths that are keeping so many homeowners just like you from going solar, and I'm going to break those down and then actually give you the truth. What is the actual myth, and then what is the real truth behind that myth, and why is it just completely blocked so many homeowners from transitioning to solar and not paying for their overpriced utility anymore. And so many of our homeowners, once they've learned this, they've transitioned with us, they've gone through our program, they've gone through our process, which is a proprietary process that we pioneered that we call the Solar Fast Track program. And the whole of our company, Team Sunshine, is built around that because it allows a homeowner to come in, to make a decision on going solar and to get panels on their roof within 45 days, or will pay for your next 6 months of energy, no questions asked. So that's our challenge. That's basically our risk reversal, right? We're actually putting the risk on us so that when you go solar, you're not only going to get the best panels, the best pricing, the best products, warranties, etc., but you're also going to get a timeline that you feel extremely excited and comfortable with. And if we hit that, then all is well. You're going to be saving money extremely quickly in 45 days. Or if we don't hit that, we're going to cover 6 months of your electricity bill. And because that program is so powerful, and because people get into that program, because we break down myths and we're an education-based process, people love us and they keep coming back for more and more referrals that they're sending their family and their friends. But in general, they just love us and they give us these amazing testimonials and videos, which you'll probably see on the next screen. So if at any point any of this interests you and you want this, you want to get an estimate, you want to go through the process and understand if solar actually is going to make sense for you, just click on the link in this video. It's going to send you to another page. You're going to fill in your details there. We're going to get in contact with you. Short little call. It's going to be honestly, this whole process is educational, fun, easy, simple. It's something that we highly suggest you take and do for yourself, because you're going to know exactly in the next 2-3 days after jumping and clicking this link and jumping into that next page, filling in your information, you're going to know exactly if solar is right for you and whether or not solar is going to help you to save an extreme amount of money over the next 15, 20, 30 years. Because the truth is you're overpaying in your utility right now. You're paying way too much, and there is a second option now. Before you didn't have another option. It was somewhat of America's last monopoly. You got your house, you paid for your house, and you call Eversource or National Grid and they give you your electricity. No options, no shopping, no possibilities for you beyond just paying whatever they ask, whenever they ask for it. So those rate increases going up 2 times a year, 6 to 8% per year for the last 15 years. I mean, these are just the facts. I'm not trying to go into that and to turn the knife a little bit, but the reality is, and I want to paint the picture before I give you these 3 steps, that where you're at right now is that you're overpaying. Right? And so let's just break this down really quick. I want to give you a quick depiction, right? This is where you're at right now because your utility is overpriced, right? It's overpriced. You're paying too much. The rates keep going up. It's just a general overprice. It's also very consistent. So, there are some benefits to the grid, to National Grid, to Eversource. It's very consistent, right? You're only getting outages when there's big storms, etc., like that. It's overpriced, it's consistent, but it's highly unpredictable. It's highly unpredictable, and you don't know when those rate increases are gonna, go up. And something that's actually happening right now is there's a big conversation around time of use, which is already rolled out in Hawaii, in California, etc., where these homeowners are actually paying double or 1.5 what they're paying during the middle of the day for when people come home. Between 5 and 10 p.m., these people are paying 50 to 60 cents per kilowatt hour. In Massachusetts, we pay the 3rd most in all of the US in electricity, right? And there's a variety of reasons I could get into, but we can actually just discuss that briefly on the call when you jump in with us, because we're education-based. We're gonna help you understand why your bill is so high in Massachusetts, and that's a big part of it. But a key there is that in those time of use hours, 5 to 10 p.m., California homeowners paying 50 to 60 cents per kilowatt hour, which is absolutely insane. So in Massachusetts, your average is about 25 to 28 cents per kilowatt, depending on where you are in Massachusetts. And if they roll out time of use, which if anyone goes solar, they're gonna obviously get ahead of that and they're not gonna be impacted by that. But if you are in time of use and you're paying double that, it's gonna just absolutely skyrocket your bills. This is beyond the typical 6 to 8% that it's going up. And so I'm trying to wrap a lot of this into this quick conversation right here with you. But the reality is, for a variety of reasons, and there's more reasons why this is a painful situation, right? The basics is that it's just overpriced, right? Obviously, you know, you love your mother, and even if you have a tough relationship with your mother, you know, fossil fuels are really kicking Mother Earth's butt, and our getting fossil fuels is kicking Mother Earth's butt. So that's another reason why this is a very painful side of the equation. And solar's not perfect. We say this all the time. Solar's not perfect. There is a footprint for solar as well. It's just dramatically better than fossil fuels. And so what is the reality? What could we get to, right? We could get to something that's actually priced fairly, like that you're not overpaying. It's actually priced fairly. It's also very consistent, right? So the cool thing about solar is all the benefits, the nice aspects of the grid system and just getting your power from National Grid or Eversource is equal on the solar side too. So you're never losing anything when you go solar, which is a very cool kind of added bonus of this, is you get all the benefits, but you also don't lose anything when you go solar. And you know, it's extremely predictable. We've had solar since the 60s. The military actually developed it for us, and you know, this is something that's been iterated hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, thousands of times at this point. You know, everything about a solar panel is highly iterated and extremely efficient, and we know what these systems are going to produce over 20 or 30 years. It's very easy to track. Our LiDAR technology and our proposal building technology is actually extremely accurate, and that's proven time and time again by our clients, you know, in our 3 to 6 month reports, when it actually shows up that exactly how we designed it, the system is working. And then we pack our proposals in with 25-year warranties. So no matter what piece of the puzzle, if anything were to happen, right, we work with only the highest, most reputable companies and providers. But if anything were to happen, you're gonna be able to get that system replaced instantly. Someone's gonna come out within a few days, replace that piece of the system or whatever went down, or replace a panel, etc. And you're gonna be right back online. Everything we design is actually interdependent, but also independent. So if a microinverter goes down, only one panel is going to go down. Your whole system isn't going to shut down, which a lot of companies design things with inverters. These are all things that, you know, with inverters, I'm getting ahead of myself, but with inverters, that if it went down, the whole system goes down. So these are things that, you know, we really build in biggest bang for your buck, and it's one of the reasons why Team Sunshine is just blowing up, and people are absolutely loving what we do, and we are loving giving this to people, giving this to homeowners, because our fast track program and the way we design Team Sunshine, you know, solves so many of the problems that we experienced in the other companies that we worked for before we actually went out and started our own thing and said, hey, this is the problem. These are the problems that we want to solve in the industry, and this is exactly how we're going to do it, right? So it's predictable, and then the coolest thing is it's really easy, because it's, you know, when you transition, you're going to renewable energy. So solar is much better than fossil fuels as far as an environmental impact. And it's another reason why, you know, this whole equation over here is just so much more valuable for you, for your family, for demonstrating to your kids, and also in general for going forward as a species and protecting the planet in so many ways. But here's the key, right? So there's still a gap here. How are you going to go from this side of the equation to this side of the equation when there's so many unknowns to getting there? There's so many different options that you could go and actually try to get over to solar, and there's so many roadblocks and stories that you hear along the way that keep people from doing it, or, you know, you hear the horror stories or the solar scaries or anything that sometimes is in the way here. I mean, there's a lot of success stories, and maybe you've only heard the good ones, but there's definitely some bad ones, and there's definitely some companies that have tarnished the name of solar and tarnished the process of going solar. And we really, we're here to make sure that going forward, the perception of solar is one that is an honest, awesome, highly, with extremely high integrity for getting homeowners to go renewable and really making sure they're not getting screwed and the systems are doing what they're supposed to. And we've built all of Team Sunshine around that. Our whole fast track program is built around that. And that's really because we sell on education. We actually, our whole goal is not to actually have to sell. Our whole goal is to have solar sell itself, and just to communicate and educate about solar so deeply that we keep it really simple and we let solar do the talking so that solar can sell itself, so that you can sell yourself on solar. We don't want to force you to do solar. We want to make sure that you understand exactly what it is so that you realize the value, the opportunity here, and you sell yourself on solar and solar sells itself, right? And that's the big thing. And on this bridge, this journey, there's been so many companies that have tarnished that process, and we're really here to fix that and to transcend that. And so, all right, what is the bridge? What are the steps, right? Well, the 3 steps that I want to talk about, or the 3 misconceptions in this world, are really right here. And these 3 myths are going to really help you crack solar and make sure you can actually take advantage of this, because these are the 3 things that come up time and time again. And when people believe these myths, they don't go with solar, and it's like this thing that looms in the periphery of something they maybe were interested in but didn't go and do because of one of these 3 myths. And these three myths, myth number 1 is that it costs a lot, or they don't have the money. Don't have the money. I'm gonna make that an acronym, DHTM. DHTM, they don't have the money for solar. Well, this is a complete myth, and this is the number 1 thing, and I get so frustrated at this because here's the thing, here's the truth about solar, and this is just hands down 100% facts. Solar is highly affordable. I mean, literally, if you can pay your electric bill and you have credit that's $650 or above, I guarantee you that we can get you solar, and maybe you have decent sun exposure would be the 3rd element to that. You're not a completely shaded home. If you pay your electric bill, you have a credit score of $650 or above, and you get decent sun exposure, I guarantee you we can make solar make sense for you. And this is something that's so imperative that you understand, because if you think that you need money to go solar, you're highly mistaken. You can go solar for 0 down, right? Really favorable loan options for you to go 0 down, right? We're not talking about tax credits. We're not talking about the push from Massachusetts to get to renewable energy targets by incentivizing you with a tax credit and a 10-year payback program. We're not talking about any of that. We're talking about just the fact that you can go solar and finance solar for 0 down in a favorable way for you. That's crazy. You can literally pay less than you're paying on your current electric bill than you would pay on a solar 0 down loan, and you're going to own solar when that program or that loan pays itself off, and you're going to have another 10, 15, 20 years of free power. 100% of your power is coming from solar, meaning you don't have an electric bill and you've already paid off your loan. When you break down these numbers, say you're paying $300 right now, and that's not counting the increases, right? The 6 to 8% that we talked about. Say right now you pay it off in 10 years and you get 20 years extra of production from your solar system, right? 20 years where you have no bill, you've paid off the loan, you get 100% of your power from the sun. What does that mean? That means 300 times 12 times 20. That number, I'm no mathematician. I'm not going to pretend I can do that math. It's not hard, but that number is astronomical. You can do it on your own right now. But that is like tens of thousands of dollars that you wouldn't have to pay. And you can get that at 0 down. You can get that without paying any money out of pocket, and you're paying less than you were on your electricity bill. If people just understood this whole thing would be solved. Game over, done. We shift dramatically to renewable energy. I'm not gonna say 100% because not every home is right for solar, but most homes are. And we're gonna have this huge flux towards solar when people realize that solar is affordable, and that's why. If you realize right now you're paying $300 on your bill and you could pay $280 on your bill, and you could own it in 10 or 15 years on your loan term, and you had to literally pay $0 out of pocket, would you do it? Of course you would, unless you just for some reason are skeptical or etc., which is why our education process is so important, because when there is skepticism, there has to be a good dialogue to get through to the truth of the matter, so that you can find clarity and you can actually make that decision with and transcend that skepticism if that skepticism is wrong. And most of the time most of the skepticism that homeowners come to us with are just completely fallacies, and they're stuff that we can easily solve for and have something in a warranty or have something data driven that shows something that destroys that fallacy and shows them the truth of the situation, which gives them the confidence and the clarity to actually move forward and go solar. This is the equation that I need people to understand, that we want people to understand, because we hear this all the time. I don't have a bunch of money, it costs too much, solar's really expensive. That is just a joke, because look, I haven't even talked about the other side of this equation. Like, I'm so wrapped up, my hands are getting clammy. This is such a fallacy. The other side is, okay, well, I don't want to take on a loan. Okay, fine. If you're on the second half of your life, or you just want, a system up and you don't want to pay for anything, there's extremely favorable things called PPAs. This is a power purchase agreement. You're going to go into a position with another finance company who's going to say, I'm going to buy your system, take advantage of the tax credits, and then I'm going to sell that power to you from your system at a dramatically reduced cost than you would from your utility. So if you're paying $300, maybe they purchase the system on your behalf, so you put literally $0, no cost, nothing, and they purchase the system, sell you your power back, 100% of your power. Right from day one, you might take a $300 bill and transform that into a $150 bill that's predictable for 20 or 25 years. That's predictable, that's protected with actual production guarantees. So it has to produce, or that contract is void. So essentially they're gonna protect your rate. You know exactly what it is for 20 or 25 years. And you literally paid $0, and now you've cut your electricity bill by, say, 30 to 50%. Day one, no money up front. PPAs have such a bad rap. These things are incredible. They're literally so awesome. Sunrun is one of the leaders, and we offer Sunrun a lot. And there's a lot of conversation around Sunrun, a ton of myths. People just say absurd things. I have my grandmother on one of these. I have my parents on another comparable one called Sonova, which we love and we offer all the time. I know my partner Ahmad has his parents on them. These products are freaking incredible. My grandmother has not paid an electric bill in almost 3 years now on her Cape house, and she loves it. She went from like $168 on her bill to a predictable $69 per month that goes up 2.9% for 20 years, meaning she's completely protected. She does not any longer, she has no worry about the unpredictability and the rate increases of this side of the equation anymore. She's completely protected. It's completely guaranteed. It's consistent. And she's shifted over here for $0 as an older woman who, her husband had passed away. She's only getting a certain amount of income from, the pensions and things like that. She doesn't want to take on a loan, but she doesn't want to also not shift to renewable energy. So PPA is perfect because she doesn't want to take on a loan. She doesn't have a bunch of upfront cash. PPA made the most sense for her. And that's why Team Sunshine, the whole thing, our whole company is designed around this process. This something that we pioneered, we call solar developers. We call ourselves solar developers because what we need to do when we look at a home is actually design the right system for that homeowner, for that home, for that homeowner, for their financial position. So what we've done in the industry is gone out and partnered with multiple different install partners, financial partners, providers of panels and products, so that we can actually have a pulse on the whole market, so that when we go with a homeowner and we talk to them, we understand their needs, we can then design the exact system for them. So when you go to Google and you just go to a local installer or something like that, even some of the larger installers, they really only have what they have, and they can only provide you what they can provide. And that's a big flaw in solar. And so solar developers are really going to be the future and where everyone starts shifting to, because what we're able to do is just totally just rock the boat. And we go in with a homeowner, and even if they've had other quotes, we're not in there to compete with other companies, but when we look at quotes, we can just destroy them often, because what we can do is we can give you guys, sometimes it's the same panel package or inverter package, but we have access to a different type of financing that actually makes a ton more sense for that homeowner, and maybe we can add in a warranty that another company can't add in. And so we just stack value. And while that other installer is a great installer, we might even work with them in general. We've done that before, but when we talk to them, we figure it out, we set things up, and sometimes we can stack value so high the homeowner is like, oh my gosh, I can't not go with you guys, because just the value add and the value stack in the process of helping them understand all this stuff is so valuable that by the time we get to the package and what they actually needed, it's like, holy crap, this thing is totally custom tailored, custom fit for their home, for your home, and it's just like a no-brainer. And when we get there, there's so much clarity, there's so much enthusiasm, there's so much excitement. Clearly, you can see that I love this stuff and I love doing this for homeowners, that homeowner says yes. We get that system installed within 45 days. They're turned on within a week or two based on National Grid or Eversource has to turn that system on after we install it. And once they do, they're set for life. We get these 3 to 6 to 9 months, a couple of years down the line, these calls and these texts and these emails back to us that just say, holy crap, this works, this is awesome. I haven't paid a bill in 6 months, I haven't paid a bill in 2 years, I haven't paid a bill in 8 months. And I got my, here's my grandmother, here's my brother, here's my uncle, here's my friend. And they all just pour people back to us because it's such an amazing process. They had so much fun. And this is just one of those financial decisions that's going to be so powerful in 2020. And I urge you also not to wait, because some of these subsidies are going away. Like simply the biggest one, right? The federal tax credit is going from 26% as it is today to 22% in 2021. So December 31st, it transitions. January 1st, it's 22%. 4% more expensive overnight. So these are things that we need to dial in today in 2020. And I really urge you not to wait, because this is so important for your financial freedom and for your financial future, to protect yourself, protect your home, protect your family, protect your finances, so that when there's rate increases and all this stuff on this side of the equation, you're not affected by that. This isn't something that affects you, right? Once you're over here, you're protected, you're unaffected. It's extremely predictable. This side isn't. And we want to bridge this gap, and we want to make this process smooth, easy, simple, clear, and building of an excitement, because when you get to this other side of the reality, it's way more fun. And that brings us to number 2, right? Number 2 is, I've kind of covered this, right? But that solar is some sort of big process, right? I'm not saying solar is small. I'm not saying solar is like overnight, but I'm definitely saying 100% that this is a myth, that it's a big process. When you go solar with certain installers or in certain other organizations, yeah, this can feel like a big process. It can feel daunting. You might have to liaise on multiple different pieces, and you're gonna get calls from the utility, you're gonna get calls from all different, the installer, then you're gonna, there's just a lot of pieces at play with other processes. But we didn't believe this to be true, because we knew there was another way to do this. And that's why when we built Team Sunshine, we knew that we could take a big process and simplify it. And that's where the backgrounds of Ahmad and I, myself in contracting, Ahmad, years and years in this game of solar, could come together and build something that makes this big process a complete myth and really makes solar easy. Make solar easy. This is the truth, right? The myth is that solar is this big process. The truth is that it's easy, and I've kind of touched on a bunch of these different details of there, so I'm not going to go into it too much. I'm just going to say here that you have one point of contact with Team Sunshine, and that point of contact is the solar developer. And actually, there's a two-person team on every one of these projects. So you're going to get a solar developer, and you're going to a professional project manager for your specific project on day one. And the reason why we do that is because so many of these companies, they have project managers, but they're just getting the emails, they're seeing all their reps or whatever coming back and saying, hey, I got this project, blah, 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 and they're trying to put the pieces together. That is extremely reactive, and there's a better way to do it, and that's what we designed, was a proactive system where the project manager is actually with the homeowner and their solar developer the whole way through. So they're actually in the initial conversation, that initial 10, 15 minutes that they're talking, solar developer and you, the homeowner, are talking to understand your needs. So they're seeing all the intricacy, all the context of every conversation all the way through for when you actually make the decision, you're clear, you're like, oh, this is awesome. They've heard all of the intricacy, all the context. And when you and the homeowner, you and the solar developer go forward and actually put that project in motion, that project manager knows every single thing about that, and they're going to be able to easily help manage that whole thing and push it through each of the milestones of that project towards install, because there's about 5 to 7 milestones on the back end. But the key there is, in a lot of different other processes, you're going to actually have to take care of a lot of getting through those milestones, which is part of the reason why this myth exists, is because people got stuck at different milestones and they didn't really have someone who was there for the whole process or all the context of the process to help them get through it, and they got stuck talking to the installer or talking to the utility or talking to the providers, that they all weren't communicating. It all wasn't housed within one point of contact, and that was extremely detrimental. And sometimes those projects even don't come to fruition, which is the saddest thing in the world, because then that person isn't going solar, that person has a bad experience, they might not go solar even for another 5 or 10 years, and that person missed out on huge savings, obviously all the benefits that we're talking about, and they're going to actually be overpaying for years and years, paying thousands of dollars that they would never have to pay if that company just had taken the approach that we've taken and designed something that wasn't just about them selling solar, but was really about providing the right process for the homeowner to get through all those blocks. And so on our end, what we do is we move you through that process easily and simply, and we just give you updates, right? So we're actually doing all the hard work, doing all the heavy lifting in the background so that you can just operate your life and you just get the updates as we're doing it. And if there is something that we need to pull you in, it's very easy and clear for us to do that with the proactive project management and the solar developer knowing the whole project through and through, that we can actually just liaise on that whole thing. And it's more or less just bringing you in to say, hey, this is the situation, these are the different elements to it. You know, you have kind of option A or option B, or this is the situation, what do you want to do? And that's an easy enough thing. Most homeowners, most of you guys are intelligent people that can make decisions. And if that's someone, you wouldn't have gone solar if you couldn't kind of see the landscape and make a decision. So it's very easy for us to help you make those not quick decisions, but make those decisions along the way when stuff does come up. Because I'm going to be 100% honest, this is a big process that we made easy, but occasionally things do come up. But the thing is, we've made this whole thing easy so that if anything comes up, you're going to have clarity, and it's going to be easy to get through any of that and get to that 45-day destination. And that's all included in that 45 days. We're doing this all typically in between 30 and 45 days, which is epic. And we're going to pay 6 months of your electricity if we don't get there. And so there's that extra element for us to really grind to get through and do the heavy lifting for you, right? And the myth here is exactly what I just touched on, is that solar is this long process. And for so many companies, and this is like hard to do without calling out so many companies, obviously there's no specifics here, so I'm talking in general, but one of the reasons why this process has been hard and why we hit so much resistance with homeowners is because of these myths, these 3 myths that we're talking about here. And in these 3 myths, this has become this thing that costs a lot, this thing that's a huge process. and this thing that takes a long time. And that's just, there's nothing true about that. I mean, I'm a contractor. I know permits. I know things like that. I've been in that world for a long time. It's a hard world because of a lot of those things. But again, this is where Ahmad and I were able to bring our specialties and backgrounds and work in other industries together to create a process that transcends these 3 myths. And so no longer does this process take a long time. This process, I'm not gonna call it short, but if done right, it's between 30 and 45 days. All right. And again, with the 6-month guarantee, we have a 6-month pay for your power guarantee for that number, because we are so confident, because we've done this for so many homeowners in the last 5 years, our solar developers and I have helped over 400 homeowners transition to solar. And we've dialed this process in. By the time we got to Team Sunshine, we dialed this process in so deeply that we are beyond confident that we can get you here in 30 to 45 days. Because obviously we're a business, we're a company. We don't want to pay for the next 6 months of your electricity. I mean, if we could, we obviously would, but in order for us to stay in business, we can't pay for everybody. So if a couple of things happen where we don't anticipate something, we're going to pay 6 months and we're going to pay you. And that's our guarantee. And that's why we want to take the risk on ourselves and do that reversal from risk on your end to risk on our end. But because we're so confident in our process of getting you panels in 30 to 45 days, we're able to say and to have that guarantee as an extra benefit and an extra kind of little sprinkling of value and trust for you to know that we can pull this off. Because why would we do that unless we really knew that we could pull this off, right? So that's what we do. And so if we can break these myths for you, and we can get you from here to here, and we can do this type of financial package for you, any one of these, the 0 down, the PPA, or obviously cash is a huge bang for your buck. If we can do all that for you, what is stopping you from going solar? And if you do have anything that's stopping you from going solar, we want to know about it, we want to hear it, and we want to be able to provide you with data and a discussion to either dissolve that roadblock so that you can actually take advantage of solar in the timeline that's necessary, which again, like I said, those incentives are going away, those tax credits are going away, you need to go solar now. And if we can do that for you, and we can build that proposal, and we can do it all for free, all up front, with discussion, data, and the demystification that you need, is there any reason why you wouldn't go solar? I don't think so. I think most people are intelligent, and most people, when they see the proposal and they know it's not too good to be true, they know they're not going to get screwed, they know they have a laundry list of clients that they could call as references or referrals, or as references or examples of people who have gone through our system and had success and are currently having success. I really just don't think there's any reason why you wouldn't go solar. And so that's why I wanted to break these 3 myths down. I thank you so much for watching this. If any of this is like totally interesting to you and you want to get down, you want to get on board with the company, in this process, I highly suggest you click the link in this video, you go to the next page, you do whatever's there. Sometimes it changes and whatnot. And I urge you to get in contact with us and to fill in the information that's there, whether it's a pre-qualification or if it's just a way for you to book a call with us. Just do that, go to the next step, get onto that call with us, because in 10 or 15 minutes on that next call, I guarantee you're gonna know exactly if solar is right for you or not, and you're gonna know exactly why we've been talking about all this and why Team Sunshine is so valuable and why we're totally pioneering this new process that's gonna get people across this chasm in a timeline that's absolutely advantageous and enthusiastic for you guys and for us. Obviously, as a company, we want to get people transition to solar. Our goal and our mission is to get solar on as many homes as we can, as it makes sense to, right? So again, not all homes are going to be perfect for solar, but as many as we can. Say there's 70 or 80% in the US that are truly good for solar. We want to get solar on those homes as quick as possible, because other parts of the world are totally kicking our butt as far as transitioning to solar. And in the US, there's so much resistance to it because, this is the land of skepticism in many ways. And, it's because there's been just a lot of things that have made this journey, have a lot of negatives, and a lot of companies have really tarnished this name in this process. And we're just here to get through that and to imagine it and to rebuild it and to give you the opportunity to go solar and know that you're not going to get screwed and give you the good results, because we need this thing to happen. We need to shift to renewable energy. We need to protect the earth, to protect the planet. We need to give you the opportunity to save money and to capitalize on the incentives and to go solar and to take advantage of the tax credits and to demonstrate to the next generation how easy it was to go to renewable energy. We need you to have your rates be protected. We need you to make sure you're not paying more than what's fair for electricity. Get out of this overpriced, infinitely increasing model ad nauseum where you're just paying into this black hole utility that really is really consistent and it's really awesome and we love the utility, but it's just totally overpriced. And like I said, it just keeps going up. And we need to shift. I mean, this is America's last monopoly, and the time for you to decentralize your power and to take some independence there so you can reclaim some of your cash and put it back in your pocket is now. This is the time, especially in this pandemic. I really can't think of another financial move that would make as much sense as doing this for you and your family right now. So, that was an epic rant. I think I've talked quite a bit here, and I really hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching. Click the link in this video. We'll see you on the next page, and I really hope you're the next client's success story for us to have gone solar. So love you guys, hope the best for you, and we'll see you on the next page.